Hey there, so today we have another review, and this is a beer from Humble Forager. They are still being brewed out of Wanaki, right? Wanaki, yeah. So the Untitled Art Facility, I guess a Tokpai, a Tokpai. This is, geez, that's script. I imagine sometime in our age, in my lifetime, people will not be able to read script. This is a weird version of script, but anyway. Coastal Sunrise, breakfast pastry sour. Blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, maple syrup, vanilla bean, cinnamon, marshmallow. Ooh, they're going crazy on this guy. You have a POV, like as if you're sitting on a horse. Why? I don't know. Sitting on a horse in a pasture. They have these like kind of like pretty fun, kind of like a watercolor, really pretty labels, like full wrap, like really nice. Like they're just very pretty labels. Inspired by Wildberry Pancakes. Yeah, let's review it and then see what they say, or what it says. So obviously they're going pancakes on this guy. What does it sit at? Version 5. So they've done, I guess, multiple iterations of this beer. It's so hard to find the ABV, but yes, 6%, not super huge, and decently fresh. Oh, actually, going on 4 months for a pastry sour. And I think they recently got this. I don't know. I've been to GB's. I didn't see this guy, so it's been a while. Yeah, I've been to GB's. I definitely did not see this guy because I've been trying to pick up the sort of fun, hype beers for you guys. Again, I appreciate you guys so much for supporting the channel. That really helps support paying for, $6, $7, $8 cans. Like it really helps a lot. So. Beer is really nice. Some chunkies in there, but really nice kind of like blueberry, magenta, kind of like purplish kind of hue to it. Completely opaque. Yeah, completely opaque. Really beautiful kind of like fuchsia, pinkish head on that. Yeah, that's a big hit. Is that kind of like fenugreek spice, maple syrup note. Fenugreek is one of the kind of like imitations of like maple syrup. Very intense spice, but tons of maple syrup when they got in the first sip. Can't get past the maple syrup. Jamminess is definitely coming in, so definitely get those like fruits. The blackberry, raspberry, blueberry, yeah, tons of that. Tons of fruit. Fruity maple syrup. I mean, that's what pancakes smell like, right? Yeah, it smells pretty fun. Cheers. Oh yeah, that's a lot of maple syrup on this guy, but not in a bad way. It's quite lingering. It's a fun maple syrup in the sense that it's this is a fun sour. So it's not mapley stickily sweet, but the impact of maple syrup is so intense. It's up front, it lingers in the back end, and the fun thing about this beer is that it's not a sweet beer. So it's like a sour with all those wonderful like fruity flavors and the maple syrup, and it's so impactful with the pancake, maple syrup note that it's got this like nice contrast. Because generally, I mean, always, if you're eating something with maple syrup, it's gonna be very sweet. But instead, you get a really nice kind of acidic attack and its impression of maple syrup that's just driving on the palate. All the fruits are coming in. Cinnamon, yeah. So it's a combination of cinnamon and maple syrup that like really pushes this kind of breakfasty tone to it. Vanilla is generally a little bit nuanced. I'm talking about like vanilla stouts and all that stuff. So the vanilla is like emphasizing some of those flavors. It's just, this is construction. And then the marshmallow, I assume, like the vanilla, marshmallow is really just fluffed up vanilla, right? It's like sugary vanilla. Marshmallows don't have flavor without vanilla, right? Yeah. So, fun. A lot of flavors that we're familiar with coming with. Outside the maple syrup, it's like blueberry Pop Tarts and what is that? It just doesn't. I have kids. Blueberry, the blueberry like little bites that we have with the baby. Dehydrated blueberries that I reviewed from a company that sent me some dehydrated blueberries. It's got a really nice kind of like just. Oh yeah, that's good. That's fun. A lot of pressure on the nose. tons of pressure on the palate. The fun thing about this beer, I think, is that it's just not sweet. The acidity is really nice counterpoints to all the sweet flavors. I mean, I read the list of these ingredients, you're like, oh my God, that is going to be a pastry stout, and it's going to be so stickily sweet and disgusting. And these kind of ingredients are used in pastry stout, but it's a pastry sour. And what you need to do with a pastry sour is really bump up the base beer. And I think they've done it here. They've really been successful in finding the balance of, here we're going to add so many ingredients. They're going to be impression of sweetness, the maple, the cinnamon, the vanilla, the marshmallow, blah, blah, blah. It's so much intensity and so much sweetness and so much confectionariness. And pastry stout does a great job with that. Here, you're counterbalancing that with wonderful drinkability. And I really like they chose 6%. I think this beer could have been at 7, 8 and been like more sludgy and more residual sweetness. Again, I have no problem just like taking good sips of this beer versus like, you know, a sweeter beer. I try to take smaller sips. Yeah, wow, that's great. That's great. Again, look more balance. And what is balance here? Again, all those ingredients talking up front, and you have a really nice kind of acidic base beer. You get the really nice, pretty fruit flavors up front. All those confectionery flavors are arriving as well, along with this like lingering, like dense, non-stop maple flavor. I would argue maybe that it's impression. So maybe you don't want to push back on that maple flavor because it's so long. It lingers. I'm talking right now. I still taste maple on my palate. And that is tasty. So anyway, Katie's on a call. So yeah. So yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. That is impression for me. That is just pure impression of like probably, I mean, for pastry sour, I don't think there's no way I've had anything better than this. There's no way I've had anything better than this. Pastry sour, I've had like smoothie sour. Actually, pastry sour is different. Now we're opening a whole other argument about fruited sours, smoothie sours, pastry sours. Like there's a whole like, you know, dichotomy of all these different sours. But yeah, for pastry sour, or at least whatever this is, it is pure tasty, is full impression. Utility is probably pretty low, but again, utility is good because 6%, and like really it's very drinkable. You know, it's not sludgy where it's like, okay, I'm going to drink half a glass and I'm going to forget about it. You can sip at this guy and then allow the tartness of the fruit, because now I'm here now. I don't know how many minutes in we're at the tartness level. So now the tartness really comes in and the maple sort of lingers down. And that's where you want beer. Utility is great here because we're having a beer that sort of has this really sweet mapley thing up front, but now the fruit sort of covered up. And then, so we're going from sweet to maple, sweet maple to the confectionery flavors, the cinnamon's coming in, and now we're getting the fruit. And now we get a really nice kind of pastry sour. Fruit punches in, still really nice and balanced from those other complex other adjuncts. That's impression from you guys. And it's really nice and dry. The base beer just has, again, I would argue the perfect amount of acidity. I don't think I'd want to push it up or down. And it's hard to say with a lot of these Berliner Weisses. A lot of the, you know, smoothie sours is not, I'm like, oh, it's too sludgy, I want more acidity. Oh, it's too, you know, too fruity or too acidic, I want to push it down. This sits at just like perfect. Let's go with a amazing 98. 98, that is Humble Forager. Coastal Sunrise Pastry Sour version 5, inspired by pancakes. And let's read the rest of the can. Juicy. So, inspired by wild berry pancakes, pastry sour contains the fruits, blah, 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 drenched in vanilla flapjacks, dusted in cinnamon, ooey gooey campsite breakfasts in a can. No offense, I don't think anybody is doing campsite breakfast with all these ingredients. Campsite is most basic, but the idea is pretty nice. And if you do it at home and make your really wonderful breakfast for your family and kids, or your family and your significant other, then you're making a really delicious meal. And this beer really replicates that to a wonderful sense. For impression, I'm gonna adjust it. 99. 99. This is just one of the best sours I've had all year. It's so fun and so tasty, and the flavors just like move around, and it's impression, utility, and preference. Like, I love it. It's absolutely fantastic. 99. That is. I mean, outside of mixed fermentation stuff, that's the 99 for me. That's for Berliner Weiss and playing around flavors. I don't think you can do a better job than that. It's hard too. And I hope some brewers do it so I get 100, but that is so good. Until next time, guys.